Have you work with your shoulder partner? Okay, so on the first day of school, we identify who our shoulder partner is, and I use this every single day. Maybe not every single class, but at some point in the day, I use shoulder partners. And it might be that while I'm transitioning, like my PowerPoints or something, I say, turn to your shoulder partner and talk about whatever the topic is of the day or something, so that they're on task and they don't not wondering what they should be doing. Okay, so 1s and 2s are shoulder partners on each row. 1s and 2s, can you face each other, please? 3s and 4s face each other. 5s and 6s face each other. If you're one of the left out people, you're just going to be a group of 3. If there is an extra person, I would identify like say Tina is absent, and I would say, Jenna. And then I would say, okay, Jenna, your partner's in here, so you turn and talk to Josh and Colton. Something like that, okay? So shoulder partner could be a group of 3. With your shoulder partner, I need to tell you, you're going to think, compare, share. Kids, if you can't, can you sit down just for a second so you can think? Here's how the think, compare, share works. You're going to go back to back with your partner, and you're going to silently write your answers. I brought whiteboards, but as I was putting them in the box, I was like, ugh, flu season, nobody wants to touch these. So I'm just going to have you write on your device, like your cell phone or something, or if you have a piece of paper, if you want to go get that and bring it back real quick, that's cool. But you're going to write your answers on your device or paper, and then when the bell rings, that's when you can turn and face your partner and discuss your answers. You can change the answer, you can add answers, you can delete anything, and this can go for any question in your classroom that might have multiple answers, like instruments of the orchestra, tell me about everything you know about a certain rhythm, whatever. So what I want you to think, pair, share about are established routines. This is like, I could not figure out when I was trying to lay out this presentation where I was going to put what. Because I'm like, you have to know this before you know this, but you have to know this before you know this. But really, this is like the main thing that's going to manage your classroom are your routines that you have established. So when you sit back to back with your partner, and I want you to write out as many routines as you can think might be necessary for your classroom. Good. So this activity, routines. What routines do you need in your class? I like this activity because every single person is doing the work at the same time. Nobody's being lazy. Can't be the group like, or one person takes over. I'll give you some time to share with your partners now. Just for time's sake, let's go through my list instead of sharing out this time. Routines are really important because we've already discussed this when we were about behavior management system. Kids need structure. Remember, we're trying to create a safe and positive environment for learning. Okay, so the first procedure you have to have is you need a procedure for entering and exiting the classroom. It needs to be set. My procedure is that, and it kind of depends on the class, whether I let them talk to their seats or not. I'm cool with talking because I understand. I love to talk. And so I'm fine with them talking as long as what they're doing is going straight to their spots and sitting down. And as soon as I ring that bell or play the drum and they go back to me, as soon as I'm ready to go, they're ready to go. I'm cool with that. Classes that take advantage of that, their rule is they come in silently. So that's kind of like modifying class to class. But the procedure is the same. You come straight into class, you sit down on your spot, you keep your hands to yourself, you're facing forward, so you're ready to learn. Yes, Alex?
Can I just say thank you for what you said?
You're welcome.
A lot better.
Okay.
Because some of my classes, I am a little more understanding of how they do. And my opinion differs from a lot of you. My hand is on
who's a librarian, and she's a very typical librarian, if you know what I mean, like storybook character librarian. And she would come in and do formal observations for me, and she loved, everything that's going on in the classroom. She's like, gosh, those kids are like really noisy when they come in the classroom. I'm like, yeah, but did you hear when I was ready to learn, they were ready to learn? Because when you're going to get into a fight, don't get into fights that are unnecessary with your kids. The kids love to talk. They like to be with their friends. And any opportunity you can let them do that, do that. That is why I like these cooperative learning strategies, because like you saw, you had silent time to think to yourself. Every single person, it was 100% participation, and then you got to talk with your friends. I also really like that one in particular because you have different opportunities for people that learn at different rates. I saw some people bust out their cell phones and they had like 10 things listed in 10 seconds. And there were some people who like sat and thought, and they got 2 things on their list. That's awesome. And then when you turn and you share with your partner, that person who only had 2 things on their list, well, they did the work, but now they're getting to learn from somebody who has some more experience in whatever situation that was. But yeah, class to class is different. As long as your principal, that's what I would say if you're having issue with your administration about it, that would be my reasoning.
It's not issue based. I can see the look on some of the other teachers' faces that they think it's soft.
Don't worry about what other people think about you. It's okay, Alex. Everybody say, aw, Alex. Seating. I would have a procedure for this. Now, I come from, I've done all 3 levels of ORF, and so I know a lot of ORFy, free-flowing people, and it doesn't work for me to just come in the classroom and pick your own spot, sit wherever you feel like. That is great if it works for you and your students. It does not work for me and my students, and I know that. I know my students, and I know myself, too. My brain is very analytical, it's organized, and so I have a seating chart. Are those kids glued to that spot the whole class? No. We make circles, we spread out, we find open out spots, we find empty space, but this is really for anything else, it's a seating procedure. This is what you do when you come to your class, and you know for sure, absolutely sure, you are not in your place if your booty is not covering up your piece of tape. If I can see your tape, you're not in your spot. So this is, we do assigned seats and assigned shoulder partners. Transitions, somebody was just asking me about that, it was Adam, right? Plan ahead for your transitions, and I'm going to show you a few transitions that we do in my classroom. Transitions are where kids get very, very naughty, because they know that everybody's moving and the teacher may or may not see this or that. And if you don't like the way they did it, send them back there to the tape. Do it again. Do it until it's right. Passing out and collecting materials. My room is set up to where it's really easy and everybody knows where they're going. If we have to get out whiteboards and markers or whatever, they're all in one place and we file out row by row. I don't do any passing out. I've always had the kids getting their own things, and it's a procedure where the blue row goes. They get their stuff from the counter, they walk all the way around the little seating grid and then back to their spot, and then each row follows afterwards. It's very organized and thoughtful, and it makes kids feel safe, and guess what? It goes much quicker that way, even though everybody is up doing something. Getting quiet and focused. I'm going to show you some more attention getters. I think I was telling Adam or somebody else too, Brittany maybe, about when I was a mentor teacher and I was going in and observing teachers and doing formal observations, the main thing that I saw the biggest mistake was teachers talking while kids are talking. Like I said, let the kids talk, give them time to speak with each other, but make it an expectation that when you are talking, students are not talking. And if they are, then you're going to wait. And it might be that you do 3 deep quiet signals. It depends on the class, and it also depends on the activity. Like if they're really turned up from behavior party day, then it might take a few more, or if they're really loud, because they just might not hear it. You could always do the old school flashing lights. That's what our teachers would do back in the day. Letting know, because you can flash the lights and still keep talking. Moving to instruments, have a routine for that. How are you going to do it? Getting into partners and groups. I like the grid because I can group really easy. Shoulder partners, ones, blues, whatever. How to ask a question. My kids know when I'm talking, you can't have your hands raised. That's rude because you're not thinking about what I'm thinking about if your hand is raised while I'm talking. We know that you can't blurt out questions. It's not acceptable. A kid might blurt out a question like 4 times. I don't even look at the kid. I know it. And you know what? He gets the hint. Oh, shoot, I'm supposed to raise my hand. I'll tell the kids at the very first week of school, you might be raising your hand to ask a question, and I might keep talking and totally ignore you because I don't want to hear your question at that time. And I said that right up front. I'm like, it's not because I'm not mean, or it's not because I don't like you. It's because we only have this much time and I got to get this much done. And there are some classes, like my 5th graders, they're awesome this year. They're so engaged in everything that we're doing. It doesn't matter what it is. Learning about the instruments of the orchestra. They have a million questions. So we have to have like a conversation about what is a relevant question and what is an important question. Sometimes with that class, so-and-so will raise their hand and I'm like, think about that question. Is this relevant or is it important? Is it important enough for me to stop teaching right now? And they'll go, but have some procedure for that. How to get tissues. Okay, Tina. Oh, God, I don't know. I have the tissue box set up in the back of my classroom. I specifically put it in the back so that we don't have to watch you blow your nose. There is a trash can right beside it, one of those little midget trash cans. No words are necessary for tissues. And if you tell me you need a tissue, guess who's not getting a tissue? This is the procedure. I keep teaching. Here, somebody show me that you need to blow your nose, okay? And I can keep talking, and I'm just going to point back to the tissue box, and that person's going to get up, and they're going to go do their business, and then they're going to come back. And we talk about the procedure of what everybody else does. When somebody has to go blow their nose, do we care? No, we don't care. We still listen, and we still learn, so you keep your eyes on me, whatever. I'm very intentional about the tissue situation. And if a kid, and you hear it all come out, you have permission, just go. That kid doesn't have to even do the procedure. Go. This is what I do. We just talked about the restroom too. The restroom in my procedure is that we do not go to the restroom in specials. And I set that with my teachers in the beginning of the year. Something we discussed, they go to the restroom before specials, unless there's some transitional thing where it doesn't work. The kids know that they will go after specials. Is this something I'm going to stick to like glue and not be flexible about? No, because I don't want pee on the floor. And I've had it on the floor. Raise your hand if you have pee on your floor. Ew, y'all are gross. Everything y'all are gross. Nobody? You're gross, Sherry. Oh, it's the story. Okay, raise your hand if you've got poop on the floor. Not me. Anyway, so that's something you've got to be flexible about. But the procedure is, you'll learn some kids, they've got bladder issues, they've got to go. So the procedure for, it happens to be Alex. Sorry, Alex and Alex. This kid called Alex, when she shakes, the procedure is, get up and go. You don't even have to ask me, go. So, restroom, be flexible on that, guys, especially with those babies. You also need to have routines for singing, playing, ready position, posture. So I teach my kids, as soon as you hear that piano play the note that you're starting pitch or whatever, or I say, here we go, I need to see your posture change. And don't start until they're following your procedure. Okay, so any like really good things that are not on my list that you want to share out that you need a procedure for, that is something you talk about with your partner? Okay. Wait, what? Emergency procedures? Yeah, I don't practice those either. I kind of practice them like as they arise. But because everything is so organized, it's really easy for me to use the vocabulary. Stand up, look at the person you're going to follow out of the classroom, row by row. We leave the same way every time. Oh yeah, exiting my classroom, I don't line up my kids. I lined up my kids the first year, and guess what? I'm on time. Who's not on time? The teacher is not coming to pick them up. The kids are waiting. Guess what? The kids are bored. I keep teaching, and I set the expectation with my teachers that come inside my classroom when you get here. Do not wait out in the hallway. Come in as soon as I see you. I will do a really quick wrap up, pick my star student, stand up, walk out the door row by row. No line. I hate the line. That's what I do for everything. And then you need a procedure for what to do when you don't know what to do. It might be that you have something on the wall, okay, practice your hand signs, practice marshmallow clap these rhythms, and have things ready on hand. It might be that you're on a phone call, that it'll be okay if you're talking to shoulder partners, you can talk to your shoulder partner about this, whatever, especially if I have a guest come in the classroom who wants to talk to me about IEPs or whatever it is. Talk to your shoulder partner about so-and-so content that we're learning right now. Any other? Yeah. So the teacher showed a number? I'm going to show you about the circle in just a second. So that's, yeah, transitioning to different like formations in the classroom is important to think ahead of time. So this is what my classroom actually looks like. Here's my grid laid out. It's really easy to group kids. It's really easy to do whole class stuff. I don't remember, in my ORF level 1, we did almost everything in a circle. And so I'm like, okay, so music, that's how you do elementary music. You just teach everything in a circle. Cool. Well, we were grown-ups. Kids, not so much, because they're looking at each other, and I like them to be able to face me. And it's like very clear, cut, and dry. You look this way when I'm talking. So that's why I put them in the rows. Do we do circles? Yes, every day. We get into a circle. So I have a procedure for that. I have my instruments. I'm very blessed with a good amount of space that I can leave my instruments set out. I used to not be able to do that. They used to have to be like in a big U around my room. They also were not on the rolling stands. So every time we had a new movement, I couldn't trust, I can't trust the kids to pick up those things. Freaking like crazy. And so it was backbreaking. It was time consuming. So I did a project and I saw that like as a routine and for management of my classroom, this is not effective. And so I did what do you call that thing where you go, donors choose. I did a donors choose project where I said, these are the things I want, and people can browse the website and donate to your cause, and I marketed it to my friends and family. And so I got these things up on the rolling stands, and now of course I don't need them because I don't need them as much, but they're so easy just to push back and push forward. If you can get those, get those. It's really easy to where kids can go behind and get drums. All my unpitched percussion is over here. All my material stuff like whiteboards, pencils, all that stuff is over here. So if we get instruments, we go that way. If we get materials, we go that way. And I'll show you about these other procedures. These are just different views of how my classroom looks. I have a functional word wall. I used to have a word wall that was not functional in the sense that I put it up by letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, alto, B, bass, whatever. This is a John Feyerabend word wall. It was kind of expensive, but instead of it being organized by letters, it's organized by like subject or content. Like all the yellow ones are notation words. All of the purple ones are form. All the green ones are folk dancing words. And so those are really quick things that I don't have to pull out materials. Anytime you're pulling out materials, you are wasting time. And that's my biggest pet peeve in life in general, is wasting time. So I really like the functional word wall thing. Okay, so here's some different attention getters that I use. Well, some of them I use, some of them I don't. Just clapping. Kids are really used to that. Their classroom teachers use it, especially the boring ta-ta-ti-ti-ta rhythm. In my school, we call it the Miss Browning rhythm. It's a secret though. Miss Browning is our technology assistant, and she runs that cafeteria like nobody's business. But that's her rhythm every time. So if you do that, so try to vary it up, make it more interesting. Plus the kids get bored of ta-ta-ti-ti-ta. You can shh in rhythm, shh, and the kids have to do it back to you. And guess what? If you're shushing, can you possibly be carrying on a conversation? No. But I like doing things that include their mouth because it literally makes them, they have to stop the conversation in order to do it. Some people sing, ooh, I don't like that one just because it's cool with grown-ups, but with kids, you get like the pitches all over the place, and who knows when to stop it, and I'm like, oh, it sounds disgusting, just for my like ear. I don't like to do that. I've got my awesome bell. Oh, don't you love this bell? I love this bell. I won it. I got it at a White Elephant from my family. It was a white elephant present. I knew for sure I could use that. I'm like, I'm playing white elephant. It's Christmas break, and I'm thinking about classroom procedures. I'm like, I need that bell. I have a conga drum right up front by my piano, so a lot of times I'll play a cool rhythm. It's just a different, they like to hear the drums, different than clapping my hands. I don't clap my hands a lot anymore. Alien ears, I was thinking I really want to do like orchestration or something with you guys today, but just for time's sake, it didn't work out. For alien ears, when they're playing on the bars, by the way, anytime I get an instrument, almost always I give them some kind of assignment to do on the instrument as soon as they get it or as soon as they get to it, because they're going to play it and you're going to have a fight. If you tell them don't play it, then you're going to have a fight on your hands. For that one, it's so loud and you want to save your voice. I'm not going to use my attention getter that way. I put my mallets on top of my head. I might not even have mallets. I might just go like this. One person will put their mouths on top of their head, and then it's going to slowly die down. You'll hear, and then you can talk about day, crescendo, until the last person who's like totally in their own little world. And they use their alien ears, and they look so cute with them up on their head. I should have put a picture of that in here. I was talking to somebody about the raising hands. I think it was Adam. If you raise your hand, my school does this bulldog pause. I would suggest not using this one. If it works for you, sure, great, use it. This one, I'm still talking. I'm raising my hand and I can still talk, no problem. It's so easy. And they try to do it like with teachers at in-services, raise your hand. No, it doesn't work. Just keep talking. So, I mean, I should put an X next to that one. But has anyone been successful with that before? Anybody use that? And it works for you?
Why do you show me 5?
Yeah,
Forward,
give me
count
5.
down. And eventually they all go, wrong one. When they get to 0, they know bad things happen.
Okay. All right. And you have a system in place for that. Good. And I like the countdown too. I didn't add countdown. That's a good one. Any type of countdown is good because you want them to be able to wrap it up. If you just, you might have kids mad at you if you just make them stop right away. Like y'all are probably like, oh, I wasn't finished with my thought when I tried to get you quiet earlier when you were in your groups. Yes.
When I was using the friend at me, she would go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's lovely because it teaches like melody direction, melodic direction. Yeah, I like the ones that have like some kind of musical content. And I was telling somebody about like the flashing the lights. Flashing lights probably not going to get them quiet, but that is a really good one for if they're in instrument groups or something. You can flash it just to be like, oh, something's going on, and then give your attention getter. Because some kids will get quiet right away with that one. Okay, Pinterest, yay Pinterest, don't know the source, here they are. Here are different ones. Some of these work better than others. If you can't see them, you might want to scoop over just a little bit. But what the teacher says is on the left side, and what you say is on the right side. So I'll be the teacher, and you be the students. All set?
You bet.
Focus, focus.
Everybody focus.
I like that one. It's like very rhythmic, and it's very like, stop. Okay, now we're focused. And it has the word focus. Macaroni and cheese.
Everybody freeze.
My 5th grade class went like this. I'm like, oh, it's like you're under arrest. They thought it was hilarious. Ready to rock.
Ready to roll.
Holy moly.
Guacamole.
Red robin. To infinity.
And beyond.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm loving it.
Stop.
Collaborating.
Good job. Do not use that one with kids. It doesn't work. It's cool for grown-ups. It doesn't. I even tried it with my 6th grade. They don't know that song. You would definitely have to like play the song over and over. I don't even know that song. I was sheltered as a child. I didn't even know what that was. I had to like look it up. I don't even know if it's appropriate. Is it appropriate? Anyway, so yes, I wouldn't use that one. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I don't really use that one either because I just know that what's going to happen. I don't think that was a very good one. Peanut butter.
Jelly time.
Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
I like that one too because everybody has to end right on time. The ones that are kind of iffy are yum because it could go yum. Or they forget that I love in it, and then after everybody sings I love in it, then another person goes I'm loving it, and then it's like ruined. So and it might be class to class that you might need to change it up. Anyway, so I put those in your notes for you. I was going to say, I don't want to take time. I was going to make you make one because I wanted to steal some more stuff. I steal from my kids too. They make stuff up too. But does anybody have a good one that I have not listed, like you've really got to share it out, Megan?
I say flat tire usage, flat tire
So you literally say, I say flat tire, oh, that one's not gonna work for me, tire. I say flat tire, you say shh, flat tire, shh, flat tire, shh. That's cute. Love it. You say you're under arrest. Careful with that one. Oh, I had one kid, just like, we were doing some activity where you had to put your hands behind your back, and he's a little first grader, a naughty first grader. There are reasons why he's naughty. But, I was like, okay, everybody put your hands behind your back, like you're under arrest. Exactly, good connection. Put your hands behind your back like you're under arrest. Not a connection I would have made when I was a first grader, but his dad is in jail, so sad. Okay. But it was a connection that he made. Yes, Helen?
Like if you hear me, put your hands on your head.
If you can hear me.
Our middle school at our campus we are Farmers Bump. They have this is Carver Middle School, so we are Carver.
That's so cute. Okay. Oh, I'm going to use bulldogs. We are bulldogs. Stole it.
My music teacher used to use finger on your lips, so it doesn't really involve their mouth, but they have to put something in the way. They have to fingers on it, so they have to be quiet.
So she puts her fingers on the
Or
lips.
she would say finger on your lips, and then they have to do that.
Okay. I mean, I can still talk like this. I'm just saying. But if it works for you, probably. But I could try it.
Just doing like mirror motions without using any,
Oh.
where they're just like,
She said doing motions that they have to copy. Don't say anything.
Say it.
McDonald's. Pizza, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and pizza. You know that song? I've never sung it in my class before. So, yeah.
Well, another one that I use, whether they like keep talking or whatever it is,
I put a spell on you.
do not talk, you'll transform into a different person. So when you get it after 60 talk.
That's fun.
So, ding, and it was like what's around the city.
Use like a story. It's cool. Okay, here are my kids transitioning. This is what it looks like if I want to do like movement around the classroom, like through free space, or I just want them spread out. Then we'll do polka dot spots. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta replug this thing. It's up here. So I call them polka dot spots. Some people call them different stuff. Oh. They like to be able to like come up with a cool pose when they freeze. So now they're in space. This is what making a circle looks like. All right, I'm gonna make a circle. Ready to go. Let's make a circle. Let's make a circle. Let's make a circle. Make a circle big. All up, raise your hands. He's a DEP student. He's okay. He can make noise. So what I have, I was going to make y'all do it, but just for time's sake, so you don't have to get up. Blue row, how they just turn and look at the back of the classroom. And I usually don't have 6 rows. I usually only have at most 4 in my class. I have the extra rows for in case I have a class and a half that day because whatever the art teacher's not there or choir comes in. I actually have 8 rows. I have a gummy bear row and a zebra row at the very, very back that get covered up. But usually 4 rows. So blue row turns around, looks at the back. Let's just do that real quick. Blue row turn around, look at the back. Purple row stand up and just look at the front. I'm excluding pink and yellow because I don't really need you. When I do that, I have to make modifications. And then my orange row is going to follow Jenna. And Jenna, you're going to end up next to Marshall. And then my green row is going to follow Taylor. And Taylor's going to end up next to Alex. And as they're doing that, they have a song to sing. Let's make a circle, let's make a circle, let's make a circle, make the circle big. I stole that from a 2nd grader. One day I was like, oh, we need a transition. In one of our TAP cluster meetings, like the professional development thing, we talked about transitioning, and I was like, I need some kind of chant or something. I was sitting there like just racking my brain as the second graders were there. This little girl raises her hand, and we had just sung Alabama Gal. She's like, I've got one. 10 seconds. Let's make a circle. And she sang it, and it has stuck for like 4 years. It's too cheesy for the big kids. For the big kids, I just do the countdown. It's not, and they can clap with me. They like the cool rhythm or whatever. Anyway, that's how the circle goes, and it's really quick. As you can see, kindergartners can do it. Okay, you can sit back down or stand up or whatever you want to do. This is going back to assigned seat. I never just say, okay, walk back to your spot. I give them some kind of assignment. So a lot of times if we're singing a song, I have to get them back to their spot. Tell me what's better, tell me is it yes or is it no? Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. Do you? You told me once, but I forgot. Tell me again before is it yes or is it no? Yes, 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 yes. I've already given them a clue that this is the last time. Now, do you give them the clue that they back to their spot? You told me once, but I forgot. Tell me again before I go. Is it yes or is it no? You see the one little kid that was jamming back to his mom? Do you not? See, we don't just rap in my tongue. But, and he took as long as he possibly could to get back to his spot. Do I care? No. Because he was in his spot by the time the song was over. He was having fun. He was being musical. When he was jamming to the like macro beat. That was great. And he wasn't touching anybody. He was following my expectations. And then this is how we leave. All right, thank you all for a great day. Stand up, look at the person you're going to follow out of the classroom. Remember, we're leaving here without talking. We're not touching each other. All those in your mouth. Go ahead and start walking. I pretty much review those expectations every time we leave. Remember, this is what I'm looking for. Thank you for paying attention. And they just leave. And it's magical. No line. Excellent work, leading your trail. And I wait for your will. Thank you. So routines, ridiculously important. I'm not going to make you make one up. You don't have a few minutes left, so I'm going to fly through this last point, and it's like the whatever. Go ahead, Adam.
I was gonna ask, I noticed the kids like doing the laughing game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do about the food?
Oh, I know, it's disgusting. I really don't. I don't. I have hand sanitizer and I use it all the time. I guess I could have them sanitize on the way in and the way out. Oh, that! I thought you were talking about germs.
No,
I would slip in my germs. Oh, that's an expectation from day one. He's talking about holding hands, and that we touch hands. We touch hands, and we have conversations about. Can you hold my hand, Emma? Are we getting married? Are you my boyfriend? No. Do you love me? I love you, just a little bit. I mean, yeah. It doesn't say that. It doesn't mean you're getting married, and we will hold hands. That's what musicians, when they dance, they hold hands, and there's going to be a lot of that this year in the school. And I tell them, okay, like when we make a circle, I actually do have them hold hands. The big kids, they don't have to because they can get in the circle and know that they're in a circle, but the little kids need to they need the feeling of it. Like if you can't hold hands with two people, then you're not in the circle. You're way back here and the other two are up there. So we do hold hands. And in the beginning of the year, it's usually not a problem for me, I'm going to be honest. When it is, I just say, okay, it's the expectation for everybody. I'm not just picking on you. It's not just you, Adam. Everybody has to hold hands. And we'll wait. And the less time you take to everybody hold hands, the less time you have to actually hold hands. The longer it takes you, the longer you have to hold hands. I'm sorry. It's clear expectations and don't back away from them. And if they're refusing, we talk about it being respectful. And that's one of the rules. The rules is be respectful. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't want to hold hands? That's fine. You can go to the safe seat. Or it might just be that person's going to sit out and watch that game because guess what? Everybody's going to have a lot of fun, but not you, because you're being disrespectful. And that's one of the rules. Yeah.
So to piggyback on that, just make sure that they're not doing it just because they're being stubborn. Sometimes they might be doing it because of their religious background.
That too, yeah, we have some schools in our district that are heavy Muslim population, and they can't hold it. A lot of them can't do like these games, and they can't touch boys and girls, can't be mixed up, and yeah, that's a good point. I don't have that in my school.
But sometimes we'll like they do
Modify.
sleeves where we can do hair bands and all that and stuff.
Interesting.
But that goes back to know your students. You gotta, you just, well.
See, that's why I had trouble like placing everything, because it's all interconnected. True. Okay, here's the last one, the last element. For round table, how this one works is one person, wait, hold on, I'm getting confused between the one and one. I wrote it down just so I would know. We're gonna get in, I'm gonna let you choose your groups this time. Yes, you don't always have to group your kids the way you want, you can let them pick their groups. So this one, partners and groups face each other, and you're gonna silently write, one person at a time writes an answer, and then you pass it to the next. So maybe if one person wants to use one person's cell phone, you're gonna write your answer, pass it to the next person, and then it keeps being passed until you hear the time signal is up. Okay, and we're not going to do the game, but to make it a game just because of time, at the end you can have the recorder from each group stand up and read the answers, and as answers are shared, if yours was shared, you cross it off, and at the end, whoever has the most wins. So groups of 4, if you like something that somebody wrote, you put a smiley face next to it or check or something. And by being engaged, I do not mean come in and just play dance parties all day and do like crappy music. You still need to have quality music. They still need to be learning content. And everything, you might need to say to them up front, you might not enjoy every single thing we do in this class. It might not be the music that you would listen to on the radio, but I'm going to give and take. I'm going to give you things that you like. You're going to learn to like things that I like. Make your activities game-like. It doesn't even have to be a game. Just call it a game. And they're like, oh, I'm going to play that. See, all the teachers are there. Make them challenging. And there's a fine line. I really think there's a bell curve. Just like everything in life, there's a bell curve. If this side is like how many students are engaged, and this is the difficulty level, if it's way too easy, your point is down here. You're going to lose kids if it's way too easy. If it's way too hard, you're going to lose kids. The bell is up here. You want to be up here, but the bell is over here when it's too hard. So you have to find something that's in the middle to engage them. Relevant to students' lives. And again, that goes back to knowing your kids. But it also could just be like, I mean, it's about to be Thanksgiving. Sing songs about turkeys. Using inquiry, curiosity, and exploration. Opportunities for student-to-student interaction. They don't just want to hear you talk all day long. They want to interact with each other. Visuals, stories, analogies, making the learning come to life. Logical sequencing. If you might have an amazing activity, but if you sequence it the wrong way, you're really going to screw the kids up, and then you're going to have management issues because it's too hard, or they're going to start whining. So you need to sequence it right. I'm really good at sequencing. Appropriate and varied questioning. I'll talk about questioning in just a second, but make sure that the questions that you're asking are relevant and appropriate to what you're teaching and also to the ability of the kids. So my first year I asked questions to first graders, and I'm like, I should have never asked them that question. They have no clue what I'm talking about. Know your students. Include all learning styles in your teaching. So like if you're doing even one lesson, one activity, you might have a visual for it for all the visual people like I am. You might do the rhythm through movement. You might speak the lyrics, whatever, all different learning styles. And then pacing that allows opportunity for students that progress at different rates. Especially if you're doing group work, you might have a group that finishes so quickly. So I like, where's my movement group that was playing instruments back there and moving? Raise your hand if you were playing instruments and you were moving back there around in a circle. Okay, that group got done really quickly, and so they're like, they were about to start getting naughty. I know they were, but they knew I was watching. So they decided they were just going to add some movement to it. Have things in place for kids who finish early. Have a next step in mind for them to bump them up, because we want to meet every student where they are in their ability level. And if they're high, we need to have something extra for them. And if they're low, we want to make sure we give them time or prepare them with the appropriate people, and use pacing that allows time for those kids to be successful as well, because we want all kids to be successful. And include all students and hold them all accountable for learning. And that's these cooperative learning strategies are one easy way to do that. And there's so many more of them if you want to go onto the Kagan. I don't think you can get them from the Kagan website. You actually have to order a book, but there's a million different ideas. And this is the last thing I'm going to share with you. I think that you can go to other workshops and find engaging lessons, so I'm not going to share any of those. But questioning strategies. Sometimes you want the whole entire class to echo you. Like when I'm speaking about the orchestra, that is so boring. I have so many questions that I ask to the kids and they say them back to me. I know it's a string instrument because it's made up, because it has strings. And I can play it one of two ways. You can either block it, solo it. Same thing for all the other ones. So that's what choral response is, having everybody respond together. Telling your shoulder partner, okay, I have an open-ended question and everybody wants to share what their experience is with this. Okay, I don't have time to listen to all of you. Will you please turn to your shoulder partner and tell your shoulder partner? That way everybody got to share their answer. We just didn't have to take 45 minutes to listen to them. I might say, like, if this is touch your nose, this gives opportunity for kids who are really quick to show me, oh, I knew it right away. If you know the answer to this. And it also gives time for kids who need the time, the extra time to think it out. Like if like a name the note on the liner space, they have time to count on their fingers. Oh, now I got it. And then that's a visual, so they can prove to me that they know the answer. And then I can just call on a person. No hands raised. We barely ever raise hands to share out in my class. I use the popsicle sticks. You saw me use them frequently today. I use those a lot, and that builds accountability for my kids, and they know, oh, my stick is in there, it could get drawn, so I better be paying attention, I better be engaged in whatever's going on, even if I don't want to be, because she might call on me. Phone a friend. You are going to draw a stick, and there's going to be a kid with no clue what the answer is. Maybe they're not trying, or maybe they're just trying really hard, they just can't come up with the answer. I'll let that kid call on another friend, and so I'm giving that person a choice. He's interacting with his friend. Somebody who actually knows the answer can raise their hand, give the answer, and then I'm not just going to say, okay, good job, Michelle. I'm going to go back to that kid. Paige, do you agree with what Michelle said? It was the brass, okay, say brass family. The brass, whatever. And I'm going to go back to that kid so that that kid can feel successful. And then I'll let the whole class give thumbs up, thumbs down if they agree, disagree. And that shows me right away. I forgot to add that on. Thumbs up, thumbs down shows me what kids know and what kids don't. And you'll see the kids that are looking around for everybody else's thumb. Okay, I know that kid doesn't know. That's a really quick way to assess. Scaffold your questioning. Maybe you asked the question, the initial question you asked to Paige was too hard. Back it up some steps for her. Okay, well, to get to this point, You have to know this, so can you answer me this? Yes, okay, now can you answer me this? So because of this and this, what's the answer to this? Like, don't let kids opt out and just say, I don't know. And use think time. Give them time to think. Because if you always have the same kids that know every answer, that are raising their hands, and if you just call that kid every time, that teaches everybody else to know that kid's going to answer. I don't have to do the work. I don't have to be accountable for learning. Okay, and then these were just some activities we're going to do, but we're at time. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much. I think the key